What I want to do today is, for the next several minutes, we'll look at our department demographics, our crime trends, our relational policing efforts, and the role each and every one of you can play in public safety and then advocating for your police department. Because we not only have a building in the center of the city, we are part of this city, and many of us live in this city. So we are your police department. So for those of you that don't know, Waco Police Department is the largest police agency in Central Texas, covering 100 square miles. Thanks to our council and our city leadership, over the past several months, we have been approved to increase our authorized strength from 267 sworn police officers to 292 sworn police officers. So grateful for that. We currently have 263 sworn personnel and are working diligently to recruit qualified individuals who are interested in public service and public safety. Please keep in mind, though, we can't just hire 24 people and put them on the street tomorrow. So even after the 6-month hiring process, individuals that are selected must attend our police academy, go through a field training program, and then complete their year probationary period before we put them out on the street. So that can be anywhere from a 1.5 years to a 2-year process. We have 12 officers who have recently gotten off probation just after the holiday, and we have 4 police officers who are going through a modified training program, and then we have 12 recruits that just entered into the academy back in January. Currently, our department is 84% males and 16% females, and I'm very proud of that female number. It was 17 when I got here. We lost a couple, but our national average in females in policing is 12%, so we're 4% above the national average because we're only represented 12% in policing, and police chiefs only represent female police chiefs 3%, so we're working to improve that. We also have an authorized strength of 109 support personnel that are assigned throughout the department, with many serving in our dispatch, our property room, our crime scene units, and our records divisions. We have several support staff openings throughout our department, and we appreciate you letting everyone know that we're hiring civilians as well as police professionals. So whether people are just getting started in their careers, that are transitioning careers, or retiring, we can use some mature individuals in our dispatch center. We have a place for qualified individuals with a heart for service. In 2022, we answered a total of 99,476 calls for service, with over 300 calls coming into the dispatch center. Only those 99,000 were the ones that we actually responded to, because the others were diverted or administrative calls, that type of thing. Our current budget is more than $52 million, with 81% of that budget accounting for our personnel and benefits. So the organizational chart with the Waco Police Department, it consists of 3 different commands, each led by an assistant chief. Assistant Chief Lanning is responsible for our patrol command, which is a 24/7 operation. Assistant Chief Frank Ginch is responsible for our investigations command. And Assistant Chief Norcross oversees our support services command, which includes our community service, professional development, dispatch, and records divisions. So let's take a minute and talk about some overall crime trends for 2022. I'll begin with a brief discussion of our overall crime trends, and then I'll provide an overview of our homicide investigations and those trends, and our violent crime and nonviolent crime statistics, and then I'll wrap up with our monthly statistics and show you how you can access that online. In 2022, we experienced an 8% decrease in violent crime, a 6% decrease in nonviolent crime, and 7% decrease in overall crime. This, after beginning last year with very concerning violent crime trends. I want to thank our mayor who joined me in a public service campaign back in May and early June, expressing our concern and strategy and talking about strategies to reduce crime. I also want to thank our officers, our law enforcement partners, our community, and our court system, as we were able to reverse what could have been a devastating year in murders and other violent crime. Reducing violent crime is a team effort, and it takes each and every one of us in each branch of our criminal justice system to have an impact on prevention, intervention, and apprehension. I don't know if many of you know this, but for some reason, we had a large number of increases in discharging firearms, people just randomly firing weapons, right? So that was a concern for us at the beginning of the year. And then in May, we had like 14 murders compared to 8 the year before. And so that's very concerning. And I'll talk about some of those murders and what really drives those in just a second. But that was very concerning for us, right? Whether it's interpersonal conflict or not. Well, I'm pleased to report that we ended the year with 14 murders. Well, 15 murders, because there was a missing person who came up missing, and unfortunately he was killed. So we went 7 months after that campaign without a murder. So that's fantastic. And year to date this year, praise God, and thank you for some prayers out there. We had 4 murders last year this time, and this year we are at 0. So that's fantastic. Again, it's a combined effort of the work that we're doing. All right, so let's talk about this homicide table here, okay? We ended the year last year with 15 murders and 13 homicide investigations. So why are the numbers off? Well, in 2 of those investigations, unfortunately, they were double homicides, okay? So we currently have 3 ongoing investigations. 3 ongoing investigations, and we've made arrests in 10 of the 13 cases that we did have last year for a clearance rate of 77%. The national clearing rate for homicides is 61%. So Waco Police Department is doing a fantastic job when it comes to clearing homicides. So let's look at the homicide trends over the past 5 years. This graph depicts the homicide trend over the last 5 years, showing the highest number of deaths at 17 in 2020 and declining by 1 for each year since 2020, again ending 2022 with 15 persons who tragically lost their lives. Now, while we'd hope no one would lose their life at the hands of another, just keep in mind that most of our murder investigations are motivated by interpersonal conflict, whether it's domestic violence or, if it's gang-related, involves illegal drugs or high-risk lifestyles, okay? So let's look at the violent crime 5-year trend. As you can see, in 2022, violent crime dropped significantly by 221 incidents in comparison to last year, and was the year with the lowest number of incidents in the 5-year period. So we're doing a great job. That's all of us. And nonviolent crime, in 2022, it dropped significantly by 464 incidents in comparison to the year before, and it was the second lowest in the 5-year period. Now, I love this because there's a lot of green. Green means good. But this can be accessed online, and thank you, Ms. Monica, for making us a barcode. If you scan that barcode, it'll take you to the crime statistics, and it'll break it down by neighborhood, and it'll give you overall crime stats. But this is the end of last year. As you can see, the only area of increase at 4% is fraud and theft, but everything else was decreased from 6% down to 33%. Okay? So as a city, we should be incredibly proud of the work that we're doing, the partnerships, the prevention and intervention efforts, and yes, the significant arrest of those individuals who wreak havoc on our communities by victimizing others. Although arrest is not an indicator of success, unfortunately, everybody's not going to get it, and some people have to go to jail. So last year, we had a total of 4,073 arrests. Over 3,000 of those were for nonviolent crime, and then just over 1,000 were for violent crime. This next slide is firearms and a property summary. And just as it indicates, these are firearms that were collected as evidence, found property, or safekeeping, and those that were recovered, okay? So last year, we recovered a total of 308 firearms as opposed to 385 the year before. To me, I think that that's a good sign. That means that our community has taken heed to not leaving weapons in their vehicles and being more responsible gun owners. And then we recovered 556 weapons last year as property safekeeping, and even those recovered stolen and those that were listed as evidence, right? And the year before, we only recovered 497. So we recovered more last year, and we had fewer that were reported lost or stolen, right? So I think that shows several things. One, officers are being proactive in making sure that we're getting weapons off the street, and then our citizens are being more responsible, turning over guns, or not leaving guns accessible for people to be able to steal, because unfortunately that's where we are now, right? These are just some of the images. I know some of you guys don't see day to day what our police officers do and the type of things that they recovered, but I'm not sure if you know about our TAG unit, which is our Texas Anti-Gang Unit, and it's a combination of law enforcement officers from McLennan County, including Waco Police Department, DPS, McLennan County Sheriff's Department, our Drug Enforcement Unit, our Street Crimes Unit, and our CCAS unit are all a part of the TAG, and they work together to work proactively to make arrests such as these. Now, our patrol officers are out there doing this stuff every day, and we recover weapons off the street every day. And how often do you see in the news that somebody was hurt or injured? We do this every day. People just don't know about it, okay? So it only turns bad when a bad incident happened, but we do it safely each and every day. I'd like to attribute all of the success that we've had for reducing crime to the number of arrests we're making, yes, our witness cooperation and follow-up, appropriate bonds being set for our violent offenders, and then recovering of evidence, okay? But that's a combination of both our TAG unit and our patrol unit. And I just want to end this section by talking about what's going on this year, since it's already March the 14th, right? So these are our numbers for this year. Right now, we have a 7% decrease in violent crime and a 24% decrease in nonviolent crime and a 20% decrease in overall crime as compared to the same period last year. We're talking January 1st to March 14th of last year, okay? So we're still doing incredibly good. The increase here, which is significant, is in our narcotics offenses, and these are coming in from people who are calling or the proactive investigations that our officers are working, okay? All right, so as many of you know, one of my priorities when I became chief was to increase the number of positive interactions that we had with our community. So I want to share with you our relational policing efforts, which are geared toward doing just that, and discuss the ways it has allowed us to be a resource for crime prevention, intervention, and for advocacy. As a reminder, relational policing is a philosophy focusing on principles of creating genuine cooperative relationships between the police and the residents of Waco. As an agency, we are committed to making every contact with our citizens count. I don't care if you're being arrested or if we're coming to a cause for service, by being transparent, respectful, engaging, building emotional capital, holding ourselves accountable just as we hold the community accountable to build trust. In our intentional efforts to do so, we expect relational policing to be policing principles that reflect in all of our interactions in each command, patrol, investigations, and in our support command. But primarily, we ensure that we are increasing our positive interactions with the community by being proactive in hosting and attending community events. This is one of the many functions of our community services division. Our team has attended 81 neighborhood association meetings, 54 community meetings in our efforts to build trust and serve each member of our community equitably. We coordinated or participated in over 125 community events, including our Community Opportunity Event, National Faith in Blue Weekend, Crime Prevention Summit. If you keep up with us, all of this stuff, we're out there, okay? We also conducted over 25 citizens' response to active shooter training classes for the public, including 2 that were held here this past summer. These are just some more of our relational policing images. Some of the events that we are currently preparing for in 2023 are a Women in Public Safety Symposium, where women in, whether it's fire, police, probation, courts, corrections, will get together on March the 30th during Women's History Month for some empowerment and encouraging and supporting one another. Our Community Opportunity Event will be in May. We'll have our Law Enforcement Torch Run and Tippecop fundraisers, our Junior Police Academy, our 12-week Citizens Police Academy, which I will encourage you to join. The next one begins in August, and registration is in late spring. We'll have our 3rd annual Back to School Bash. Bash and our 3rd annual Trunk or Treat, our National Faith in Blue weekend, and then our Blue Santa program, and of course our Shine Your Light program, where we go to local hospitals and let the patients and staff know that we're thinking of them during the holidays. Some of the other events that occur throughout the year, events that are designed to engage our Spanish-speaking community through our UNIDOS program. We have numerous Coffee with the Cops, our Explorers program, and we're excited to be reactivating our PAL program, which is the Police Activities League, later this year in coordination with Transformation Waco. So something else that's pretty exciting for us is we're proud to announce the permanent addition of our social resource coordinator. Sorry. I need some more. Ms. D'Angela Bynum. Her role began as a part of a pilot program in partnership with Waco Connect in 2021. Her contributions to our team have made such a difference in managing the resources and time spent handling those that are in mental crisis. Her role goes beyond crisis, and she spends countless number of hours following up with consumers just to reduce the number of contacts that they have with the police. As our social resource coordinator, she coordinates services between the Waco Police Department, the community, and other social resources to allow access to those resources and community members in addressing critical mental and behavioral health concerns. We are also excited about our new initiatives. We'll be partnering with the Heart of Texas Behavioral Health Network to provide a licensed mental health professional in our dispatch center to divert those nonviolent crimes from the police. Because unless there's violence involved and it's critical, you know, we don't have to go to those calls. We'll have somebody, a licensed mental health professional in our 911 dispatch center who will be able to divert those calls and apply other resources as opposed to a uniformed officer going there. We'll also have Commander Wallace, who is over our community services division, has been invited to participate in the Faith in Blue Community Outreach Board. This is the inaugural year for that board. This is just a tremendous opportunity for us to share our success with community outreach and community services and learn from other law enforcement agencies that are leading the way in community engagement. In 2023, they'll be launching this cohort. With the initial cohort of 20 members, they'll be launching this board with the initial cohort of 20 members, and Waco PD is being represented. And just for context, there are over 18,000 police departments across this country. There are only 20 that are going to start, and Waco PD is one of those 20. We'll also start participating in our law enforcement against drugs and violence program. Sergeant Melissa Thompson has been asked to sit on that executive council board, where she'll provide input and advice and assistance to the staff and board of directors in providing education to inner city schools and law enforcement agencies with a more diverse composition. She's also started spearheading this program here in Waco. All right, so how can you support? And these are just me as a police chief, right, and things that I've seen in the last 2 years I've been here. Just encourage your members to share information regarding any criminal activity and being the eyes and ears of their different neighborhoods. And it's also critical that our community members come forth and cooperate when they witness the crime. We've done a much better job with that. I think that's why our clearance rates are increasing. The more we build that trust in our communities, the more comfortable they are coming to us and providing information to us. We need to support our single parents and our at-risk youth and our after-school programs, mentorship programs, youth programs, and just join us as we go into the community and meet them where they are. Introducing our youth to other options and opportunities, helping to change the trajectory of their lives, taking them out of their neighborhoods, and then showing them that all things are possible. And then we do have a resource table outside. You can also join our chaplaincy program. How else can you support as members of the community? Just get to know your police department. You can participate in and promote our Citizens Police Academy. Again, it's a 12-week program. Anybody in the room gone through our Citizens Police Academy? That's not enough hands, not enough hands. So it's a 12-week program. You spend 3 hours once a week with our police department, and you get to, it's an opportunity for us to have those tough conversations. You get to meet our K-9 unit, our SWAT guys, shoot, don't shoot, do traffic stops. It's a lot of fun, but at the same time, you learn policies, procedures, and the things that we do as a police department and why we do them. So I encourage you to participate in our Citizens Police Academy. We also have our Youth Explorers program and our Citizens on Patrol program. Please, please, please keep up with us on social media. You can follow us, you can share. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and we have our very own weekly podcast. If you did not know, anybody ever listen to our podcast? Hands, not enough hands, not enough hands. Okay, so we have weekly podcasts with our own public information officer, Ms. Sierra Shipley, and now she's co-hosted by Ms. Janae Draper, who's outside, and they bring you up close and personal to our police officers. We share crime prevention tips and strategies, and then we tell you what's going on with other community partners, and of course, we share our crime statistics. Please help us with our recruiting efforts, partner in our efforts to increase positive interactions for better public safety outcomes. Encourage others to be the change that they want to see. And again, we need both sworn and support staff. Finally, and I saw this video play a little earlier, but can we play that? I don't know. Can you hit? Yeah. It's a great video. Good bonuses, good incentives. Sorry, city manager's office. I love that. Thank you so much, communications. Fantastic. But please share our hiring video. If you know somebody with a heart for service and would be good in public safety, sometimes people don't know that that's what they would be good at. Nudge them, have them to come talk to us, and we'll encourage them to do a ride along, right? I'll sit down and make time on my calendar to talk to people, right, that are interested in public safety. So please do that. But we're not just hiring police officers, we are also hiring dispatchers. Can you hit that one time for me? We got a good dispatch video too.
911, that's the location of your emergency.
Do you need police, fire, EMS?
Okay, I see you off of Loop 340.
And the yelling, do you know if it's coming from a male or a female? Okay, I do have this call in. Officers are aware of it and they'll be out there just as soon as they can, okay? At 10:15, the car said there's a male subject out in the parking lot honking the horn and screaming. She didn't have a vehicle description and no weapons. Waco 911, what's the location of your emergency?
So please, all of our jobs don't require you to be out on the street in a patrol car. These guys are just as important, and ladies are just as important as our police officers, and they're first responders too. So if you know anybody who's mature and can handle a high stress situation that's very rewarding, please send them our way. Remember, the safety of our city is depending on the partnerships between the police and the residents of Waco. Public safety is not a spectator sport, and it requires all of us to be on the playing field. Thank you.